New York City, once a beacon of hope and opportunity, is now grappling with an unprecedented crisis. A relentless surge of migrants has overwhelmed its resources, stretching its social safety net to the breaking point. The city that never sleeps is struggling to accommodate the influx, with shelters overflowing and tensions rising. This humanitarian crisis has become a political battleground, with accusations flying and solutions proving elusive. The Biden administration's open border policies have exacerbated the situation, critics argue, as migrants continue to pour into the city, seeking a better life but straining the city's ability to provide for them. The crisis has exposed the fault lines in our immigration system and ignited a fierce debate about the role of federal aid and the responsibility of sanctuary cities. As New Yorkers grapple with the consequences of this crisis, one question looms large. How did we get here? And what can be done to address this humanitarian and political challenge? Amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the migrant crisis, a shocking revelation has ignited a firestorm of controversy. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, an agency traditionally tasked with responding to natural disasters, has allocated a staggering $59 million to New York City to address the migrant influx. This expenditure, critics argue, is a gross misappropriation of taxpayer dollars, diverting funds intended for natural disaster relief to address a self-inflicted crisis. Adding fuel to the fire are reports that a significant portion of this funding has been used to house migrants in luxury hotels, a move that has outraged many who see it as an extravagant use of taxpayer money. While city officials claim that only a fraction of the funds were used for hotel accommodations, the optics of housing migrants in luxury while many Americans struggle to make ends meet have fueled public anger and accusations of government waste. The controversy surrounding FEMA's $59 million expenditure raises serious questions about the agency's priorities and the Biden administration's handling of the migrant crisis. Is this a necessary allocation of resources to address a humanitarian emergency, or is it a reckless misuse of taxpayer dollars that sets a dangerous precedent for future crises? Elon Musk, the outspoken CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and now the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, has emerged as a vocal critic of the FEMA funding. Musk, never one to shy away from controversy, has accused the Biden administration of blatantly disregarding a Trump-era executive order designed to prevent such expenditures. The executive order, signed by President Trump in 2019, aimed to curtail federal funding for sanctuary cities and limit the use of taxpayer dollars for housing illegal immigrants. Musk's allegations have struck a chord with conservatives and immigration hawks who view the FEMA funding as a betrayal of Trump's legacy and a violation of the rule of law. They argue that the Biden administration is circumventing the will of the American people by ignoring the executive order and using taxpayer dollars to fund policies they vehemently oppose. The clash between Musk and the Biden administration over the FEMA funding highlights the deep partisan divide on immigration and the enduring legacy of Trump's hardline policies. It also raises important questions about the limits of executive power and the role of government agencies in enforcing or circumventing executive orders. The controversy surrounding FEMA's role in the migrant crisis is not an isolated incident. The agency has long been a target of scrutiny, particularly during the Trump administration, which questioned its necessity and effectiveness. President Trump, known for his disdain for government bureaucracy and his skepticism of federal agencies, repeatedly expressed concerns about FEMA's operations and its potential for political bias. In 2018, Trump issued an executive order calling for a comprehensive review of FEMA's structure and mission. The order, which ultimately did not lead to any significant changes, reflected Trump's deep-seated belief that FEMA was a bloated bureaucracy in need of reform or even dissolution. Trump argued that disaster relief should be handled primarily by states, with the federal government providing financial assistance rather than direct operational support. Trump's skepticism of FEMA stemmed in part from his belief that the agency had become politicized, particularly during the Obama administration. He accused FEMA of favoring Democratic-leaning areas in its disaster relief efforts and of being used as a slush fund for pet projects. Trump's legacy of FEMA scrutiny has cast a long shadow over the agency, making it a lightning rod for criticism and fueling accusations of political bias. The current controversy surrounding the $59 million expenditure has only intensified these concerns, raising questions about FEMA's independence and its susceptibility to political pressure. New York City, often hailed as the financial capital of the world, faces a unique set of challenges. The city's infrastructure, from its subways to its skyscrapers, requires constant upkeep. This maintenance comes with a hefty price tag, often running into billions of dollars annually. The burden of these costs falls on the city's residents and businesses, leading to higher taxes and fees. In turn, this financial strain can affect everything from public services to the cost of living. As the city continues to grow and evolve, finding sustainable solutions to manage these expenses remains a pressing concern. In the wake of recent events, a chorus of condemnation and questions has arisen. Critics from all sides are vocal, demanding accountability and transparency. The public is left wondering how such a situation could have unfolded, and what steps will be taken to ensure it never happens again. As investigations proceed, the depth of mismanagement begins to surface. Revelations about systemic failures and administrative oversights paint a troubling picture. The question now is whether these issues are isolated incidents or indicative of a larger, more pervasive problem within the organization. Meanwhile, the immigration debate continues to rage on. Policies and practices are scrutinized, with passionate arguments on both sides. Advocates for reform stress the need for humane and effective solutions, while opponents raise concerns about security and resource allocation. The critical question remains: should the current system be reformed or dissolved entirely? Experts weigh in, offering varying perspectives on the best path forward. Some argue for comprehensive reforms, while others believe that a complete overhaul is necessary to address the foundational issues at play.